Hello, and welcome to Joleedo Gamescast. It's E3 week, and we are talking about the best of the show. Our favorites, our awards, the stuff we loved, and even some of the stuff we didn't like so much, our disappointments, and, comments on things maybe we wish we could have seen that wasn't there. Today I have Derrick Dover.
And might I say, Jason, that was an excellent introduction there. Much better than the first try.
Whoa. We're one-take wonders here. There aren't any other tries. This is the only one.
You think you're Clint Eastwood now? No, you're not a one-take wonder. I'm sorry. We'll get there. But until then, we have our awkward intros and a couple retries, and then we get it.
We always get it. That's what's important.
But and yes, hello, Internet.
Hello, Internet. And we have Alex Lee.
That's me.
All right, you guys, before we get into E3, I have an announcement to make.
So this is the announcement that you were going to mention before. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. This is a good thing.
Okay. This is not the other thing.
Great.
Okay, this is not the attack.
This is the final episode of Joleedo Gamescast.
It's been fun, everyone.
No, the announcement is that we have crossed the 100 listens.
What?
For all of our episodes so far. We are at over 100 listens total.
Wow.
I feel that's cause for celebration.
That is an exciting moment. I'm gonna take a shot of my hot coffee. So worth it.
So, thank you all who are out there listening to us. This is fun. We do this for fun. We're not making money on this.
No.
But we do. No.
We welcome it, though. We do welcome it.
But, we do to have, hopefully interesting conversations about games. Mm-hmm. And, thanks for listening. And we hope you enjoy and continue to listen.
And hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we will just continue getting better and better as we get more comfortable. And, settle into our skins, so to speak.
Yeah, unpolished right now is the name of the game. But every episode, we strive to get a little bit better.
Yeah, that's how it goes with anything in life. You just gotta keep going, and you just smooth those edges one week at a time.
And that actually reminds me, we still haven't recorded an episode 0 to actually properly introduce ourselves to everyone. We're not going to do that now, but at some point we will do it.
Yeah.
But this week, or in this episode rather, we are wrapping up E3 2016.
Well, are we? I guess we can wrap it up because I was thinking, I'm sure we're going to have an entire episode dedicated to certain games.
Absolutely.
I guess those technically won't be E3 episodes. Those will just be game episodes.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of, celebrating the week that is E3, and right now, everyone else, they're getting their top 10 list together, their best ofs, and
yep.
And I feel it'd be fun to have a discussion and figure out what ours are.
Hour.
That's the next episode. But yeah, let's,
and you're a writer, are you?
Oh, shots fired!
I was just wondering.
Marking down the timestamp for this one to delete that. No, seriously. Well, I am a writer, but we'll do all that later. Episode 0. Stay tuned. For now, we're talking about video games, and I say, let's start where, E3 always begins. It begins with the conferences. So real quick, let's just, let's iron out who had the best showing. Before we get into the games, let's talk about the companies. The men and women who actually make the games that we celebrate.
Should we go for worst or best? I feel I haven't seen your lists yet, but I feel like they're probably the same.
Well, in terms of conference?
Yeah, best and worst conference.
Yeah, I mean, let's go with best. Derrick, what was the best conference of E3?
Definitely Sony, hands down. For me, they have been on a roll since they announced PS4, and they've killed it. Whether it's their own PlayStation experience at E3, they've had a few hiccups here and there. Like I think that their last PlayStation experience, they had that pretty terrible VR demo. But yeah, overall, they've just been killing these conferences. And the games they announced at their conference were, they just, what can I say, man? They blew minds. I think the best way to explain Sony's conference is the GIF that's been going around. And I think the title was everyone's reaction after the PlayStation press conference, and it was the picture of oh crap, brain fart. What's his name?
Norman Reedus.
Yeah, Norman Reedus, and they photoshopped the PS4 in his arms while he's crying. Like that basically sums up how me and everybody else felt about that conference. Really good. I think I sent that to you, Jason. If for any listeners, check that out. They've got a whole bunch of edited GIFs of Norman Reedus holding various things. It's quite entertaining if you just want a few giggles. But yeah, they absolutely killed it. Great announcements. I think we talked about it the episode before last. Like, just jumped right in with God of War, and then they just kept just nailing these awesome announcements and reveals and trailers and everything. So yeah, they delivered. The only thing I didn't like about it at the end, and I guess it's not that I didn't like it, but everyone was expecting Neo, and I'm pretty sure that after Microsoft revealed everything they're doing, that Sony was like, let's take a step back and let's not announce that, and we'll just throw a couple minutes of Days Gone gameplay there in the end.
Yeah, Neo is an interesting topic for discussion, and in terms of news, like that's a big piece that requires that discussion. I think just like any new hardware announcements, and we'll save that for a later date. But it's a thing. It is coming. It is probably coming this year. Even today, sifting through the news this morning, Digital Foundry's Richard Ledbetter, he posted that he has sources saying that Neo is this year. Like, even after E3, even after kind of the dodging of when are we going to hear more about the hardware. Like, he says it's coming, and it's sooner rather than later. So expect, an announcement followed quickly by a launch, which we haven't seen that too often in this industry. So that should be really interesting. But in terms of conferences, Alex, do you agree that Sony killed it, maybe more than anyone else?
Hands down. Derrick really hit the nail on the head with pretty much everything. Sony blew it out of the park with in terms of kind of things we expected, things we didn't expect, and outside of the no discussion of Neo, there was kind of nothing that I would have liked to have had more. And the point about pulling back on Neo as a result of the Xbox and the Microsoft announcements makes total sense.
Yeah, for sure. I also agree. I think Sony clearly had the best conference this year. And that's not to say that, that the others are bad, aside from one, which we will comment on in a second. It's, I thought Microsoft had a great show. But the difference is...
the orchestra.
Well, yeah.
That was the difference. Kidding. That was fantastic. I really wish they would do that for every conference now. It was just beautiful.
Well, why not? Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I'd love to see that happen every year. I'd love to see, because Nintendo did that in the past with the Skyward Sword release E3 2011, I believe. And I'd love to see Microsoft open up again with a big orchestra dedicated to Halo, or some other series of theirs, Gears of War music, whatever it is. In the past, maybe 10 years ago, they did something similar. But I love stuff like that. And I think with Sony, the advantage they have for people who watch the conferences is that they are rapid fire games. They don't even really bother. They haven't bothered in 2 years with hardware announcements. They didn't showcase PSVR, like the actual headset, this year. They just said, here are the games for it. Yeah, check it out at the booth. It's coming out in October. Like, they keep it very simple, very succinct. And I think that's proven to be a strength during E3 when people want to see games. There's a lot of BS that occurs at some of these other conferences, especially the longer ones, where Like Ubisoft did a lot of interviews where they brought out people behind some of the games that they were showcasing, and they sat down for 10, 20 minutes and had an interview. And then you'd see something. And it's not that that's not interesting. It's just, I think for the target audience, at least the gaming community.
Well, that's I at least appreciate those better than dramatic monologues leading into an hour and a half of a sports game.
Right.
So we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I can't. Who was it now? I can't remember.
So, before we jump to EA, I mean the worst. Whoever the worst.
I mean, well, here you're spoilers.
I just want to say that, like Bethesda, Ubisoft, and Microsoft, they had really, really strong shows. All of them have different approaches. I just think Sony has they understand the format that works well. And in the same breath, I will say, even though Nintendo doesn't have a traditional conference anymore, like what they show at E3, how they demonstrate their games that are coming out over the next year or so, like that's probably maybe still the best company, or at least the best way of showing it right now. Xbox has Xbox Daily during 2 of the days of the show where you can watch Major Nelson and a couple other hosts kind of, they'll interview developers and they'll show off games and it's really fun. It's about an hour long, but no one does like the 5 to 8 hour marathons that Nintendo does, showing off all kinds of new stuff. They dedicated. Oh yeah, go ahead.
For all the problems we have with Nintendo and all the frustrations, when they hit it, they hit it, and the way they do their conferences and presentations and the tree houses. Yep. And oh my God, I keep forgetting this word. The
direct.
Direct. Jeez, direct. It's such anyway. Yeah, I think that's the future of conferences for a lot of companies. And you're right. I love the way Nintendo does that.
The conferences are about making an impact. It's about announcements and making an impact. And Nintendo, for the last 3 years that they've done the Treehouse Live at E3, like they've killed it, in my opinion. And they show stuff that you would never dedicate a half hour to.
Yep.
One other thing I was going to say about Sony that has really impressed me is how and I'll say this about Phil Spencer as well. I love how Sony really puts their head guys out and kind of builds up those personalities. Yeah. And they've picked such great personalities like Shuhei Yoshida, like Adam Boyes? God.
One of the two.
I swear, I still so regret talking to him and thinking, oh God, did I just mispronounce his name? I need somebody to clarify that for me. I just need to make sure. But
Adam, sorry.
But yeah, Shuhei and Adam and now Sean Layden. Sean did such a fantastic job. Like when he first came out several years ago, he was like, I don't know how I feel about this guy, but I remember his like first year coming out for PlayStation. It was he just felt a little uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And then I guess it was last year he came out and he looked like he looked so like modern and like dressed, and he had those nice shoes. I think
the beard going.
Yeah, he had the beard going. Like that was cool, and he didn't have that, but like. Man, his presentation was so good and so comfortable and calm and collected. And it was like, just like your buddies talking to you. He was so cool. And I really appreciated that. So like, he's really, really grown on me.
Same
and yeah, I just wanted to say that for the PlayStation press conference.
As fans of E3, when you watch for years on end,
mm-hmm.
you do get used to the personalities that you see every year.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine, E3 without Reggie Fils-Aimé from Nintendo.
Yeah.
And like when Jack Tretton was at Sony, was at
mm-hmm.
PlayStation. Like, I remember the first year he was there and he was a nervous wreck. And like, I think the nerves remained for like the next 6 years. And then it's like when he was done, when he was getting ready to retire, from that position, he had like ascended.